the better of. Thank you, Judge.
Honestly, go fuck yourself, sir. You don't say that, okay? You don't lose a trial where a jury acquits someone and find them overwhelmingly not guilty and say, I gave my sincere obligation to look into this, and I'm telling you all I saw when she's guilty. Again, respectfully, go fuck yourself.
Swear again like that. That was, no, I mean, whatever. That was, I shouldn't have done that.
A few moments later.
You, as a prosecutor, have got to be out of your fucking mind.
Nose.
Dude, Jimmy, look at those ears.
The ears don't bother me as much.
No, I don't trust a man. I don't trust a man with a lobe like that. No,
really,
not a fucking chance.
The mouth is butthole to me.
Very thin, paper thin.
The nose.
Oh, the nose.
The brows.
Well, listen, I will tell you though, I kind of like a fucked up nose on a guy.
I like a big old honker. I like a big nose.
Old nose. Give me that big bitch. You know,
yeah,
like, I'm into it.
Come over here, cluck cluck.
Yeah.
I see some chickens that went moving on up in my biz, cluck cluck. You gotta be with the kids, the kids, the kids, the kids, the kids, kids.
And I go, oop, clutch, clench, kegel. We did it all. And I go, oh, and what happened? And they go, well, we just got 4,000 plus pages, bitch. And I said, stop it. Show me it. Take me to Unimpound Town immediately, if not sooner. So what happens?
The bitch is here.
Why are you at a football game? Are you a Fonz correspondent?
Well, no, because it's only for men over 30. Okay? Have a great night, boys. Fuck off.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
Hey, Blues Clues, motherfucker.
Hello, lovies. Happy Friday Night Lights and Friday Night Live over at my wackadoodle house. It is August 22nd, 2025. And just a quick question. Did we need to do a wellness check on me after the interview with attorney David Yannetti on Wednesday? Probably. Okay. I slept like a baby. I put myself to bed. I took some magnesium because one of you lovies told me last Friday night when we hung out with Melanie Little, our attorney goddess queen, you were like, babe, you need magnesium. Who knew? Apparently, I was in some sort of deficit. And then I didn't sleep for 3 days because I was preparando for attorney Yannetti. Let's just say I clutched and clenched the entire time. 1 hour of straight Kegel in it. No one asked, but I'm telling you. Okay? I pet my dog Kino, and I had to pinch myself under the desk. I was like, don't lose it. Don't lose your mind. After you asked a question about, I don't know, Julie Albert, and everything went off the rails. It took all of Tiny Mary and Tiny Jesus in the boom, plus, don't drop them. Plus having, trying to use every muscle in your body to just not have to turn the camera off and say, whoop, that's a wrap. That is a wrap. Where do we go from there? I don't know. I blacked out. I don't even recall. I was physically spinning on the rings of Saturn at that point. God help me. Oh, and Caroline knows. It was Kimmy Walters in her blazer. Guys, stop it. Who is she? No one. I literally was like, oh yeah, I'm Kimmy Walters. I have to professional. Okay. Took as many deep breaths as possible. Babe, I could have been in a Lamaze class, right? Call a young couple from Tallahassee and ask me to go in with you because I'll walk you right through it. I was unwell. It was insanity. Oh, I was in the zone. Thank you, Aisha. She was in the zone. I was in the twilight zone, babe. Yeah, that is true. I was in a zone. It felt like extraterrestrial. I might have been ET, but it was everything. And did you see it? Did you get to see it? Say if you saw it in the chat. Don't go and watch it. If you haven't seen it, don't go look at it. But if you saw it, let me know. Because I appreciate you. I appreciate Mr. Yannetti so much for coming over to our house. And how embarrassing. Oh, you saw it. Oh, you did see it. Thank you, Rock Show. New Hampshire woman. Thank you for seeing it. Oh, and Tracy with a Y. She says, yes. Oh my gosh, you did see it when you saw it live. So, babes, you know me. And right. So I didn't have, like, I had all my papers and I didn't have like my notebooks because my notebooks are trial adjacent. So I needed to have, like, I do these, like, I just do all the papers and I just write all my notes. Tell me why I had 7 pages of just, chatting points that we could have discussed. What did you think he was staying for the night? Was he doing a slumber party? Were you doing a 12-hour Glarer fundraiser stream? Why did you have that many notes? That's embarrassing. Stop it, Kimberly. No one was hanging out with you that long. And then look at this. Look at one of the notes says Chris Albert Nebacracker. That was supposed to spark something. It was supposed to spark something in me to ask a very cool question. Okay. Oh, and then I wanted to say about, oh, we could do a whole stream on this. Oh God, no, that would be an embarrassing stream. But about that he texted Officer John O'Keefe for the first time on January 29th, 2022, Chris Albert texted Officer John O'Keefe. Oh, really? Oh, you just got his phone number on the day of his unaliving? I have questions. You guys literally lived on the same road on Meadows forever? I wanted to know. I wanted to know more. Oh, Daniel Whitley. I wanted to talk about him. And saying that Mr. Yannetti was a masterclass in difficult witnesses. And when he asked him, are you testifying that your memory gets better over time? And Whitley says, no. And Mr. Yannetti says, because that would be crazy, right? And he goes, correct. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. I haven't really got the concept yet of how you're supposed to get better with this stuff because I'm just winging it like my eyeliner, babes, It's just someday there's always one fucked up wing. And then you try to fix it and then it's like, it's a situation. That's how I feel about content. I think I'm like, oh, maybe she's getting this down. And then right before this stream, I pull up the Donna Adelson and I go, we'll watch it together. We'll watch opening statements together because I love you. You love me. I didn't see it today. And I was like, let's do this together. My familia. And it starts screaming. It's buzzing. Okay. I think there's an alarm and I believe that the government is doing testing. Like the emergency broadcast system is coming through my computer. Keno, I start walking around. Guys, do we hear this? I'm talking to my family. I'm like, there's a large beep, a loud beeping. Don't you hear the buzz? Is there an emergency broadcast? Everyone's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, lady. It was a stream. Okay. She knew. She's new. Okay. Anywho. Christine says, can you show how you did that messy bun on your head? Yeah. All right. Well, oh God, if I take it out, it won't get right. Okay. So I'm going to put it. Oh, well, yeah, let's do it. We're good. I have a bobby pin. All right. I'm not going to be able to take it all out, Christine, but generally speaking, I put it up in a pony. I put it up in a pony and then I wrap like one piece all the way around and then I tie it. Then I do this with the bobby pin and I put that little witch right in there. And then I look like a I don't know, like a creepy, like yoga instructor, maybe. I don't know, like a badass ballerina, right? Like, did you try? No. Have you washed your hair in 2 days? No. That's where that goes. So, yep, just up like a pony and then the one strand all the way around and it works out. Don't look at the back of my head. If you ever saw it, you'd be like, bitch, Kim, would you brush your hair with a pork chop today? No. I didn't. It's a real brush and it's pink. I have a pink, like wet brush and I love it. It has bristles. Okay. Moving on. Bam, bam. Yes. MJ, yes. Bam, bam. That's me. There we go. Where Cat Toes, not Cat Torres, says flash dance. Where's your leg warmers? In a draw. Wouldn't you like to know, Cat Toes? Where are your leg warmers? I see your little cat toes. Oh God, she's delusional. It's too late at night. This might be a scream stream. We don't know what she's doing. Boom, ready? Okay. A little Diet Coke. And Pebbles. That's us. Tara Ellis, yes. Oh my God, I love Pebbles. I like Cocoa Pebbles. I like Fruity Pebbles too. I didn't as a child, but anywho. Daisy and Rue's mom said, did you hear JFK, James Jackson, and Kev 781 want to do a show with you? Oh, do they? Oh, do they, boys? Because I feel like you were giving me the business the other day, but I accepted. I know it's all in good jokes and fun. But of course, I would love to do a show with them on anything that they want. And especially my dark horse, my new man in the mix, Kev 781. No one is, as positively energized. That man's ions are on point. I'm going to tell you that right now. Okay? He gives off good vibrations. What that means, I don't know, but I like it. I'm picking up anything that he is putting down. A good spirit, a good soul. And I hope I didn't offend him because I feel like I hope that it was like just a joke when I go, oh, we fucking, that's a joke. I say that about like everything. So I don't want to ever be offensive to any guy being like, what is this? What is she saying about me? But I meant it all in good fun and in positivity. And I hope he is not thinking like cringe that she's saying this about me. Oh, good. Oh, common sense investigator. Okay, good. All right. Or as long as he's not just thinking, oh, I might need a restraining order because it could be taken the wrong way. Oh my gosh, could you May, could we do a dance off? Could we listen to music at JFK's house and just boogie down one night? Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll make it to the flight. I'll go 39,000 feet with Kevy Kev 781 any day of the week. Okay, a red eye. I'll even listen. I never go for a layover because I'm a bad flyer. But for him, I would make an exception. Just saying. Okay. Okay. As long as he's loving, okay. As long as he doesn't mind, then I am happy as a clam to do it. And Melanie Gore has got her dancing. Oh my gosh, we should all do dancing one night. Thoughts on a dance stream? Thoughts on a boogie down party? Oop. I think we can make that happen. Oh, and not NKOTB. Okay, we won't do that. Absolutely. And I know, oh my gosh, Jessica Fritz tells us, babes, we have to know about this. Jimmy is going to Donna tomorrow. Do you know this? It's not breaking news because he told it at his house. He's called me. We've talked 4 times today. That's an exaggeration. Twice. But I need to make sure that we're emotionally supporting him on his plane when he lands, and he's going to court. He's going to be IRL at the trial. Shut up. Shut up. I can't even handle this. He's Jimmy on the scene. He's going to be like our IRL reporter. Are we starting a court TV like competition? Vinnie Politan, move, bitch, get out of the way. Okay? There's a new act in town. It's Jimmy and Kimmy Court Live. I'm going to be in studio, and he is going to be our correspondent. He is going to give us all the shit. Lovies. He's going to tell us what is happening in court, including and not limited to, who is she? Who is she? I want to know. Judge Everett, I already like him. I like him because I like the sheen upon his cranium. I like a man that glistens under fluorescent lighting. Okay, can't tell me shit. I also dig that he has that big old Dell. Big old Dell. It's a big Dell you got there, sir. All right, I don't know. I like that they're keeping it sanitized. We're making sure because germs happen. All right, anywho. Oh, she loves him. Common sense investigator loves Judge Everett. So if anybody watched this already today, I'm wicked sorry because I didn't see any of it. I'm not going to do the witnesses because we can handle that another day, but I need to see absolutely opening statements, defense and prosecution. P.S. Our prosecutor is my queen. You understand this? You get this. Her hair, if I thought it was incredible in another trial, to see her hair, and she is so business-like. She reminds me of Jodie Foster. That's what I said on Jimmy's stream. I was like, I am obsessed with her. So these are going to be characters that are going to be very new for me, but I am ready to dive deep into Adelson. I know that you guys have been doing this for 11 years. Like, who cares, Kim? We don't give a shit. Like, we already know. We've been doing this forever. I'm into it. I'm ready. I'm locked and loaded, like, to bust through the door on Donna Adelson. And is she guilty? Yeah, she is. We know it. I don't want it to be so. I want to believe that Charlie and the dad did it. I'm like, oh, they were the bad eggs. And the girls were just like little tiny damsels in distress. But it's not true. Right? And Dan Markel deserved better. Like, he deserves to be here. His sons deserve to have him. And it is horrifying that the web of lies that were created. But I will say this. If Donna Adelson was given, allegedly, now this was nothing in writing, but if she was offered a plea, babes, and to give up Wendy, her daughter, and she didn't roll on Wendy, and she would have gotten out for time served, then I say that to say this. Don't ever tell me that it was too far for you to think that a family in Canton, that McCabe's and Alberts, for 3 years, couldn't keep their mouths shut. Okay. Woo! Woo! She said it. Now let's get into this, babes. I love you.
Good morning, everybody. Again, I'm Sarah Catherine Dugan. Georgia Kappelman and I are representing the state of Florida in this case.
Sarah Catherine. Thank you, Sarah Catherine, for your money pieces. In his name we pray.
This is the defendant, Donna Adelson. We see her here at the defense table, and this is how she appeared back in 2014 when this crime occurred 11 years ago. And the reason that we're here today is because this defendant, Donna Adelson, was part of a conspiracy.
Oh my God, that was so rude. Did you just pull up a picture of Donna from 11 years ago and we're like, women are not supposed to age? I'm clutching my pearls. Where are they? Hold, please.
Hire a hitman to kill her former son-in-law, Dan Markel. This murder was set into motion because back in 2014, this defendant's family had a big problem.
Oh.
And the big problem was Dan Markel. And the solution to that problem was the defendant's son, Charlie Adelson.
Oh, Charlie.
Charlie Adelson was the solution because he had a girlfriend with connections to the type of people who were willing and capable of pointing a gun at a complete stranger and pulling the trigger. The victim in this case, Dan Markel, was known as Danny to his friends and family.
Hi, Danny.
He was a loving father to 2 little boys. And he was a highly respected law professor at Florida State University College of Law. Tragically, on July 18th of 2014, Dan Markel was shot in the head in broad daylight in the driveway of his home in the Benton Hills neighborhood here in Tallahassee. The last day of his life began like any other day of his that summer. He woke up, he took his 2 young sons to preschool, and then he went to the gym to work out. After finishing his workout, he returned home. He pulled into his driveway and he opened his garage. But little did he know that throughout his entire routine that morning, he was being followed by 2 hired hitmen who traveled all the way to Tallahassee from Miami for the sole purpose of taking his life.
Oh.
And like something out of a horror movie, when he pulled into his driveway, the killers pulled in right behind him. Moments later, Dan Markel's neighbor heard a gunshot, and he looked out the window and saw a light-colored Toyota Prius back quickly out of Dan Markel's driveway and speed away.
Is that a crime in and of itself? Driving a Prius to a murder? You fucking sick bastards.
The neighbor thought that was very unusual, very suspicious. So he waited a second to see if Dan Markel also backed out of his driveway or came out of his house. And when he didn't see him, the neighbor got, a very funny feeling. And he went over to Dan Markel's open garage to see if there was anything wrong. And he found a gruesome scene. Dan Markel's car window, his driver's side window, was shattered. His glasses and his phone were on the ground next to his car. And Dan Markel was behind the wheel. He was unresponsive and moaning and terribly injured. The neighbor called 911 and law enforcement arrived to find Dan Markel with a gunshot wound to the head. He was taken to the hospital where he survived for about 14 hours before he was pronounced dead. Dan Markel was only...
Oh, lovies. Okay, I hate to do this to you, but that's suffering. How sad. 14 hours he had survived for. Oh, I'm so sorry, Dan.
41 years old.
41?
These little boys who were deprived of their father after this murder were just 3 and 4 years old. Bless you.
God bless you.
Law enforcement began to investigate to try to figure out
Shooter
who
and a
did this,
Prius.
who shot Dan Markel. The scene there, the crime scene, left no trace of the killers. There was no fingerprints, no DNA, no bullet casing, nothing was stolen. And so police began to suspect that this may be a professional killing.
Oh, an inside job.
The little evidence that they do have sends them down 2 separate paths. One path is to track down that light-colored Prius that the neighbor saw fleeing from the scene. And the other is to identify who was inside that Prius. And the other path relates to motive. Who in Dan Markel's life would hate him enough to hire a professional killer to kill him?
Oh.
And after years of tireless investigation, both of these paths led directly to this defendant. So first, let's talk about
Lovies. I'm sorry. Are we saying that Donna is the mastermind of everything? Oh my gosh, Cam. I thought that Charlie, because Charlie and the girlfriend, and then the Latin king and his friend, I didn't realize that they were alleging that. Oh, as it said, oh my God, shut the fuck. Kim, it says Donna Adelson, day 1, matriarch mastermind. Okay. Oh, woohoo. Sorry.
the path involving motive. We'll go down both paths this morning. Police investigated Dan Markel's personal life to try to figure out a motive in this case, to see who might want him dead.
Oh.
And they learned that Dan Markel was entangled in a very nasty divorce with his ex-wife, who is the defendant's daughter. And his ex-wife is named Wendy Adelson.
Oh, Wendy.
A review of the divorce case file reveals that Wendy Adelson had asked the court to allow her to relocate to Miami, where she was from.
Of course she did.
With her children and Dan Markel's children.
Who's this?
In order to be closer to her mother, Donna Adelson, to her father, whose name is Harvey
Who is
Adelson,
he?
and to her brother, whose name is Charlie Adelson. The victim,
Harvey.
Dan Markel, as y'all can imagine, is adamantly opposed to this, to his children being relocated to Miami. He works here in Tallahassee. He's a law professor here in Tallahassee. This is where he lives. This is where his kids have been raised. He wants his children here with him. A review by law enforcement of Wendy Adelson's emails made it clear that her mother, the defendant,
Wendy,
hated Dan Markel.
stop
And
it.
was the relentless driving force behind Wendy's relocation efforts to South Florida. And, you know, being a caring and involved parent is great, but the defendant's participation in her children's lives went beyond mere involvement or even meddling. She was extremely controlling.
Oh no.
She had very strong opinions about all the decisions in Wendy Adelson's life, whether it
Okay. Okay, let's have some cultural background here, Lovey. She's a Jewish mother, very close to Sicilian mothers, aka Jacqueline Teresa, my mother, who is very involved, okay, in every decision that I've ever made in my life. She needs to know. And I think that if you put Donna Adelson in a caftan and 3 martinis, she'd tell us everything. Or at least I'd try to get it.
be about her career, her relationships, or even purchasing a home.
Oh.
And if Wendy Adelson would not do as the defendant wanted her to do, the defendant often then enlisted Charlie Adelson, her son, Wendy's brother, to solve the problem by getting him to kind of go to Wendy and persuade Wendy until Wendy ultimately agreed to do what the defendant wanted her to do.
Okay.
And while the defendant had always been controlling of her children's lives,
Who is this?
the emails uncovered.
Who is he? Who is this king? Oh, I need to know. A man that wears blue on blue with his curl ablaze, a full head of white hair? That's Harvey. Of course it is. Harvey, were you going to play tennis? What are you doing, Harvey, you fucking dreamboat? God, guys, you know how I am with old men. Oh, God, this is going to be hard.
By law enforcement
Love
showed
'em.
that this defendant was desperate to find a way for Wendy and Dan Markel's children, her grandchildren, to be able to relocate
hate
to
him.
Miami. The defendant told Wendy that She deserved more than just a life teaching in
Oh, it isn't
Tallahassee
Harvey.
without her family.
It's Dan's dad. He's Canadian. Okay, focus. This is Dan's daddy. This is Dan Markel's daddy, a Canadian king. We love him. Okay, continue.
And that Dan Markel was essentially holding her hostage in Tallahassee because of his job.
Make your attorney understand.
During the divorce and custody battle, the defendant's email showed that she was heavily involved in Wendy's court case, even going so far as to draft and edit the documents that Wendy and her attorney were filing in court, and emailing Wendy instructions for her attorney on arguments her attorney should make and what her attorney should do.
Do you think, okay, over under that we can get Auntie to get an interview with him? Okay, I'm going to send Jimmy a couple of dollars via the Venmo. I'm going to get him a Tommy Hilfiger sweater, okay? He's going to wrap it upon his shoulders. And I'm just saying they'd find a kindred spirit with one another.
The defendant would guilt trip Wendy Adelson about how much time she and her husband, Harvey Adelson, were having to spend away from their dental practice to visit Wendy and the grandkids in Tallahassee, and complain about how the family was losing income, losing patients because of their constant absences from the practice. And the defendant instructed Wendy Adelson that relocation to Miami was the most important priority in this divorce.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
It had to be her non-negotiable in the divorce. In June of 2013, the judge in the divorce case ended up ruling in Dan Markel's favor. And not only did the judge deny Wendy's relocation motion, but the judge dismissed it in a way that prevented Wendy Adelson from requesting the relocation.
With
again.
prejudice, yeah.
So Wendy would not be permitted to move to Miami to be close to the defendant and her husband with the children at that time or ever. Unless of course, something happened to Dan Markel. After the judge denied the relocation motion.
Look at Wendy. Look at Wendy's mother, Donna. Donna Sue, where are you? Donna. Oh, God. The years have been rough, my dear. I feel we should speak to her. Donna. Listen to me, Sister Wendy. Jimmy's going to Tallahassee tomorrow morning. He's going to be in court on Monday. He's our in-courtroom correspondent. Do you understand? Do you get what is happening? Because this is big doings. 10 out of 10 we're trialing live with Jimmy.
After that was denied, the defendant told Wendy Adelson in emails that Dan Markel has not beaten the Adelson family yet. She let Wendy know that the Adelson family is a team and they are trying to win. Donna Adelson suggested in her emails several bribes to get Dan Markel to agree to relocation, like plane tickets, paying for her grandson's education. And the defendant even suggested offering Dan Markel a $1 million bribe to allow the relocation, to let Wendy move to Miami with the boys. And if the bribes didn't work, the defendant also suggested several ways that Wendy could threaten or bully Dan Markel into submission. The defendant told Wendy to aggravate Dan Markel like he aggravates you. And the defendant set out a plan of action that the defendant told Wendy would make Dan Markel absolutely miserable. And she's detailing all of these in her emails. So for the plan of action, the defendant knew that Dan Markel was devoutly Jewish. So she came up with the idea for Wendy to pose Dan Markel's sons for pictures in front of a Catholic church.
No.
And then
That's rude.
post the pictures to social media. And even announce on social media she was getting the children baptized just to make it appear to Dan Markel that she was changing their religion. The defendant assured Wendy Adelson that this would all be an act to get Dan Markel to agree to let her move to Miami, but told Wendy Adelson that in order to pull off the stunt, she had to put on the acting performance of her life.
Oh my God, take a sip, girl. I am thirsty as shit. I'm sorry. Is your mother telling you in an email chain of unknown origin, like just to your family, like fuck Dan up squad, that you need to be basically Meryl Streeping this shit? I cannot.
Defendant said that it did not matter to her if Wendy had to dress her two little toddlers up in Nazi or SS uniforms, as long as she was able to get them to South Florida to show Dan Markel that he was not in control. The defendant repeatedly told Wendy Adelson that the rest of her life, meaning Wendy's life, as well as the defendant's life, Harvey Adelson's life, and Charlie Adelson's life depended on Wendy Adelson and the boys being able to relocate to Miami.
Oh my.
And the defendant said that she would never, never, never give up and never stop fighting for Wendy and the boys to be relocated to Miami.
Okay.
And she never did.
Oh.
The evidence in this case will show you that this defendant's closest confidant was her son, Charlie Adelson.
Oh, Charlie.
She and Charlie Adelson talk multiple times a day.
Of course they do.
Day. And he was the person with whom she would constantly vent and complain to about Wendy's situation here in Tallahassee, having to live in Tallahassee with her sons.
Oh.
And she would often, the defendant would use very dramatic life and death terms to describe it.
Oh, you don't
The
say.
defendant portrayed Dan Markel to Charlie Adelson as a crazy person who was impossible to deal with and was causing an extreme amount of stress to Donna Adelson and her husband, Harvey Adelson. And Charlie Adelson was also the person that Donna Adelson relied on to solve her problems. And her daughter and grandsons having to live 8 hours away in Tallahassee was a big, big problem for this defendant. And this defendant made it Charlie Adelson's problem to solve. And although the divorce between Wendy and Dan Markel was final a year before the murder, throughout that year, litigation is still ongoing, to say the least. Each side is continuing to routinely file violations of the custody agreement, violations of the settlement agreement, and that continued right up until Dan Markel's death in 2014.
Okay.
A few months before the murder in 2014, Dan Markel alleged that the defendant, Donna Adelson, was disparaging him to his children. He was very worried about her trying to alienate him from his children. She was doing this by calling him stupid in front of the boys and telling the boys that Dan Markel was trying to take them away from her. Dan Markel asked the court to prevent this defendant from having unsupervised contact with her grandchildren. And this motion was still pending in court when Dan Markel was killed. And the murder of Dan Markel ensured that not having access to her grandchildren would never be a problem for this defendant. And what do you know? About 48 hours after Dan Markel was killed, after the shooting happened,
Lovies, who is she? Is this Dan's mama? Is that Dan Markel's mama? Okay. All right. Mrs. Markel.
Wendy Adelson and the little boys relocated to Miami, moved into the defendant's home with her, and the boys started school down the street. And just like that, the father was effectively erased from their lives, and the Adelsons' big problem had been solved. You'll hear during this trial that the Adelson family is a very tight-knit family. The defendant, her son Charlie Adelson, and her husband Harvey Adelson actually all work together at their family's dental practice.
Oh, of course they do.
The defendant, Harvey Adelson and Charlie Adelson are dentists there, and the defendant managed their accounts at the office. She was the
Okay, we don't trust dentists with earlobes like Charlie Adelson. Okay, his father, the earlobes run in the family. I'm just going to say that, and I'm saying it loud and clear for you all to hear. Red flag. Red flag. They've got a dental business. She's running the books. Sure. All makes sense because she runs it all. But I don't understand how, well, we'll get into it. I just want to know why Harvey, because Harvey looks danger. Okay. He's given me stranger danger. And why is he not in trouble?
details person. And this defendant, though, she managed much more than just the office for the Adelson family. She was the matriarch and a domineering one at that. She ran the office, the home, and the lives of the Adelson family members.
Of course.
After Dan Markel was killed, law enforcement
My
interviewed
king.
Wendy Adelson.
Look at his lobes.
Wendy Adelson told
That's a
police,
good lobe.
and the police confirmed this, that
Green
she was at
flag
home
lobes.
having her TV fixed at her home in Tallahassee, having her TV fixed at the time of Dan Markel's murder. And when police asked her, well, do you know anyone who would have a motive to kill Dan Markel?
Oh.
Wendy Adelson acknowledged that her family had a motive to want Dan Markel dead, and said that her parents had more reason to dislike Dan Markel than anybody else. At one point in the interview, police allowed Wendy Adelson to make a phone call to her parents to let them know that Dan Markel had been shot. And after she got off the phone with her mother, the defendant, Wendy Adelson said to police, well, they acted surprised, so that's a relief. And when asked by law enforcement if anyone could have killed Dan Markel on her behalf, she also told the police about her brother, Charlie Adelson.
I remember
Wendy
this.
admitted to police that her brother, Charlie Adelson, had joked that he looked into hiring a hitman to kill Dan Markel as a divorce present, but decided to buy her a TV instead.
Okay, the kicker of that, babes, was that it was like within 20 minutes of her questioning. She right out the gate brings up Charlie making this joke. And that is beyond sus, in my opinion.
Because it was cheaper. And what do you know? The same TV that Charlie Adelson bought his sister as a divorce gift would be Wendy Adelson's alibi the morning of the murder. An alibi, the TV repair appointment that was set up by her parents, Harvey Adelson and Donna Adelson, the defendant. So this path of looking into Dan Markel's personal life to see who would have motive to kill him leads law enforcement to the Adelsons, including this defendant, a woman who vowed to never, 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 never give up on getting her daughter and grandsons to Miami, and her son, Charlie Adelson, who told his family that he'd looked into hiring a hitman to kill Dan Markel, as Wendy said, was just a joke. But if Charlie Adelson was just joking about hiring a hitman, that joke, that stopped being funny when Dan Markel was actually killed by a hitman.
Yeah.
While the police are trying to investigate motive, they are simultaneously following that second path of the investigation by tracking down that light-colored Prius the neighbor saw fleeing from the scene. When law enforcement retraced Dan Markel's steps on the morning of his murder, they uncovered some very chilling surveillance video of that light-colored Prius fitting the description given by the neighbor, following Dan Markel into the Premier Gym parking lot and waiting for an hour while he was inside, and then following him home from Premier Gym back to Benton Hills. And these surveillance images, coupled with a massive amount of phone and SunPass records gathered in this case, help police track down the exact car used to commit this crime. But police still had to figure out, okay, we got the car, but who was in this car?
Who was it?
Why did that person kill Dan Markel?
Right.
So law enforcement did a painstaking review of digital evidence in this case. And when I say painstaking, finding this Prius and finding evidence in these phone records was not an easy task. And it took much longer than your average investigation of a shooting, as you'll hear. But law enforcement eventually found that needle in the haystack. They found a number that communicated with the cell tower that services Premier Gym at the exact time when the Prius was there. And it was a number with a Miami area code. And that number belonged to a man named Sigfredo Garcia.
Sig.
Law enforcement examined Garcia's call logs, and they saw that he was in frequent contact with another number that was present at Premier Gym that day. And that number belonged to a man named Luis Rivera, who is a longtime friend of Garcia, and he's also from Miami.
Luis, Lius. God love him.
They both are. Police then looked at Garcia and Rivera's phone records, which showed that their phones left Miami 2 days before the murder, so July 16th. They came to Tallahassee, and on the day of the murder, on the 18th, they followed Markel to Premier Gym. The phone data shows that these men turned their phones off just minutes before the murder took place, and their phones then stayed off for about an hour or so after the murder until they were well southbound to Miami. I think around the Gainesville area, the phones turned back on. And then once they got back to Miami, a bank's ATM camera caught them in the light-colored Prius at a bank drive-thru and caught both of the men in the Prius. So police figured out the identity of the two men responsible for following and killing Dan Markel. But they continued to look for evidence to explain why these seemingly random men came all the way to Miami.
Yeah,
Came
randos.
all the way to Tallahassee to kill a man that they'd never met. What or who is the connection between the killers and the victim? The defendant in her emails obviously had demonstrated ample motive to want Dan Markel dead, but how do we get from these two random and hired killers to her? Well, those phone records that I talked about, they revealed that one of the shooter, Garcia's, most frequent contacts was a woman named Catherine Magbanua.
Oh.
She goes by Katie.
Katie.
The shooter and Magbanua have a long history of an on-again, off-again relationship.
Of
and
course
they share
they
two kids
do.
in common. This is Garcia and Magbanua. And lo and behold, these two paths of the shooter's car and the motive
Cross.
converge when law enforcement sees that Catherine Magbanua is also one of the most frequent contacts in the phone records of Charlie Adelson.
We found it. Charlie's Asian Angel. Well, well, well.
The defendant's son, the same son that she had been nagging to death about his sister being stuck in Tallahassee. Law enforcement also learned that at the time of this murder, Catherine Magbanua was dating Charlie Adelson.
Son of a bitch.
Dan Markel was a problem the defendant needed to solve. The defendant's son, Charlie Adelson, was looking to hire a hitman to kill Dan Markel. Dan Markel is killed by a hitman. And who ended up being the hitman? The hitman that killed Dan Markel? Someone with a close relationship to Charlie Adelson's girlfriend, the father of her children. So you can see how both paths, followed by investigators, charted the way to this defendant. Not only by looking into the motive, led law enforcement to the defendant because of her hatred of Dan Markel and her son's apparent efforts to hire someone to kill him, but also looking into that car fleeing the scene led law enforcement to the defendant through her son's girlfriend at the time. So 2 investigations, 1 conclusion.
Noted.
Law enforcement also tried to follow the money in this case. And that was a third way that the
fucking
evidence
money.
in this case pointed to the defendant.
Is this where we're going to find Charlie's wet ass money?
Law enforcement reviewed bank records, employment records, DHS-MV records of all the suspects and saw that in the months after the homicide, Garcia, Rivera, and Magbanua all acquired some big ticket items. Rivera and Garcia both bought motorcycles and cars. Magbanua got a breast augmentation surgery.
She got her titties done? You got your titties done? Oh, Katie.
And later received a black Lexus sedan whose previous owner was Harvey Adelson.
A black Lexus.
Catherine Magbanua's bank records were analyzed, and there was no check ever written or matching cash withdrawal for the car or the breast augmentation.
Harvey
Bank
needs
records
his
also
titties
showed that
done.
Magbanua's account had a huge spike in cash deposits around the time of the murder. She deposited more money in her account in the 5 weeks after the murder than in the entire year before the murder. And this was during a time when there was no record of her being employed anywhere. And also, about 2 months after the murder, this defendant added Catherine Magbanua to the payroll at the Adelson family's dental practice, the one that she kept the accounts for, the defendant kept the accounts for. And the defendant started issuing her regular checks from their business account every 2 weeks, despite the fact that she did not work there at the time. Magbanua didn't work there. Law enforcement noticed that each one of the 44 checks that were written to Catherine Magbanua every 2 weeks over the course of the next 2 years after the murder were signed by this defendant, Donna Adelson. So the money was talking, but what about the suspects? Law enforcement wanted to know what they were saying.
Take a sip, girl. Take your time.
In this case, law enforcement noticed a distinct pattern of communication surrounding important events or dates in this case.
Okay.
The phone calls always went from this defendant to her son, Charlie Adelson, and then from her son, Charlie Adelson, to his girlfriend, Catherine Magbanua, and then from his girlfriend, Catherine Magbanua, to the shooter, Garcia, and then back the other way, like train cars. They only seem to touch the car directly in front and directly behind them. The defendant never calls her son's girlfriend, Catherine Magbanua, or the shooter, or vice versa. Charlie Adelson never calls the shooter, or vice versa. So, if this is a murder for hire conspiracy, as law enforcement suspects, could it be that the defendant and Charlie Adelson are wisely insulating themselves from the actual shooters by having Magbanua act as the middleman?
Or, hear me out, Charlie Adelson is a pussy. I know, it might be crazy, guys. You think to yourselves, no way. A man with lobes of that caliber, he couldn't be a large vagine. But something, I don't know, speaks to me, moves my spirit a wee bit, and says that he was too afraid to call Sig or Lewis. Okay?
Law enforcement decided to launch an undercover operation designed to clarify who are the members of this conspiracy and how information was traveling.
Who are the members in our conspiracy?
Police applied for and received court authorization to listen in real time to the phone calls of Charlie Adelson and Catherine Magbanua, the people in the middle of this train car. And this is what's known as a wiretap. By this point, though, it was April of 2016. It took about 2 years to do this investigation to find out who was in the car and to get this wiretap going. So at this point, it's been 2 years, almost 2 years since the murder. And at this point, in April of 2016, Charlie Adelson and Magbanua are no longer dating. They've been broken up for over a year.
Oh,
Catherine Magbanua at this point is actually back together with Garcia. We heard they're on again, off again, and have these kids together. Charlie Adelson has moved on to, he's had many other girlfriends at that point since Magbanua. And Charlie Adelson and Magbanua, though, they are still friends. They remain close friends since their breakup, and they're still in regular communication by April of 2016, even though they're not together anymore. Rivera, the second hitman in that Prius, was in prison by this point, doing time on an unrelated charge. And the defendant is happily taking care of her grandkids all day, every day.
Of course,
so all the members of this conspiracy have presumably gone on with their lives, believing they've gotten away with murder. So what reason would they have for discussing the murder at that point if police are listening in? They wouldn't. So police needed to stage an event that would generate some conversation, some activity between the members of the conspiracy so they could see who the members of the conspiracy were. Their plan was to send an undercover agent posing as someone on behalf of Luis Rivera. He was the hitman who was incarcerated by April of 2016, to walk up to the defendant, Donna Adelson, on the street. There's a fly right in front of me. It won't leave me alone. To walk up to Donna Adelson on the street and try to blackmail her for money. Law enforcement refers to this as a bump. So.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought that. Give you a bump. Okay, tell me more.
This undercover agent posing as a blackmailer, and this is an actual picture from the surveillance cameras that
blackmail bumper.
Passing a piece of paper to Donna Adelson back in 2016. This undercover agent is posing as a blackmailer. He hands the defendant a piece of paper, and on the piece of paper is a news article about Dan Markel's murder. And written on the piece of paper is a phone number and the amount of $5,000. He tells the defendant that he knows the Adelsons are taking care of Katie, and he's basically there to blackmail to get more money out of them or out of her on Rivera's behalf, to even think.
Okay. All right. So we know I'm not an actual lawyer. I just talk to them on the YouTubes. Does that not feel like entrapment to you? Like, we're just going to say that we know you committed a crime, and we're going to set you up and say, we know you're taking care of Katie because Katie hooked you up with a killer. But I don't know. That feels a little sketch to me. Shouldn't it happen like naturally?
Things out because he knows they're taking care of Katie. He never says Charlie Adelson's name or anything about Charlie Adelson to Donna Adelson. The defendant then puts the piece of paper in her purse and walks away without ever looking at the piece of paper because she knew exactly what it was about. Then law enforcement listens in to see what will happen next. Will the defendant go straight to the police?
Not entrapment. It's perfectly legal. Therefore, not entrapment. Okay, hold please. Which one of my lawyers is telling me this? All of the okay. Tell me all the crazy shit that went on in this case. I still can't wrap my head around how this chick got her baby daddy to agree to kill a guy for her side piece. Babe, I hear that. What the F is going on here? Listen, if you are one of Charlie's Asian angels, I hear you. Also, the inmate love connection. What is that? Find an inmate or tickle an inmate. I don't remember exactly what the website is, but I'm sending a letter. I'm sending an email. Should we do a stream where we all get together, get her inmate number, and then we can send her something? I wrote it down. It's like, it's something secure US, and we'd be able to send her emails. Katie, tell us everything. She said that she wanted to hear from boys and girls. She is greedy. So if we just slide in there, all right? This isn't like back in the old days with a Polaroid and a large stick of salami you'd be trying to get into prison. We can now digitally fuck around, So I'm thinking we're going to just say to her, boo, hey, boo, we got you. So what happened? What happened? I don't trust his lobes. And she's going to tell us everything.
To report the blackmail, or will she do something else entirely? And as suspected, based on the previously observed communication pattern, the first person that this defendant calls is Charlie Adelson.
Oops, sorry, I got sidetracked. Attorney Starr says it's only entrapment if the police direct the target to commit a crime. The bump did not and was not meant to get them to commit the crime, just to talk about the crime that they had already committed. Boom. And that's why Attorney Stars likely is an attorney, okay? If the law enforcement doesn't tell them or, direct them to actually do something. But isn't it weird it's not weird. You can bring up specifics that you think you know. You don't have to have them organically. It's just like planting an informant or something that would know certain things and be a little bit of a hang around, I guess. That makes sense. Thank you so much for clearing that up, Lovey.
Despite the fact that the blackmailer never mentioned Charlie Adelson to her. On that first call, you would think the first thing that Donna Adelson would say to Charlie Adelson is, oh my God, so crazy. Some man just came up to me, handed me an article about Danny's murder, and he's demanding money from us. But she never says any of that. Oh. In fact, the defendant never says Dan Markel's name at all. Instead, she tells Charlie Adelson that she needs to talk to him in person about some paperwork
she got papers
that was just delivered to her. She said that it involves the two of us.
Oh.
And that he should know what she's talking about. The defendant and Charlie Adelson continue talking, and she says
Kelly,
that he should bring cash to their meeting.
No.
And she says, the TV is probably about 5.
What?
The defendant tells Charlie Adelson that the man who approached her mentioned an ex-girlfriend. The defendant never says which ex-girlfriend of Charlie Adelson. She never says Magbanua's name to Charlie Adelson in that phone call. She only says that the blackmailer mentioned an ex-girlfriend. Charlie Adelson never asked his mom, my ex-girlfriend? Which ex-girlfriend? He's had a lot. He never asked that. Because as the evidence will show, he didn't need to. He knew
damn right well.
TV is probably 5 meant that she was being blackmailed about Danny's murder, where the TV was the alibi. And he knew that the ex-girlfriend in question was the only ex-girlfriend that he had solicited to find a hitman for him, Catherine Magbanua. And we know that because after this call with his mother, the defendant, Charlie Adelson, calls Catherine Magbanua.
Okay.
He does not call his most recent ex-girlfriend or even the one before that. He calls Catherine Magbanua.
He calls
This
Katie's
call
titties.
to Catherine Magbanua is the only call he makes to any ex-girlfriend after getting the information from his mother that the blackmailer mentioned an ex-girlfriend. And he hadn't dated her for about a year and a half at that point.
1.5.
And although they threatened to do it very often, neither Charlie Adelson nor the defendant ever reported this attempted blackmail to the police.
Never.
You all will hear the calls between the conspirators, and as you listen to these, you'll notice that they're being very cautious
That's guilty
about
as
what
shit.
they say. It's apparent that they're being very careful about the words they use because they are all immediately suspicious that law enforcement could be behind the bump.
Thank you,
Law
James
enforcement could be the
Jackson.
person who came up to them on the street and gave her the paperwork, and law enforcement could also be listening to their conversations. After Charlie Adelson's first call to Catherine Magbanua, Charlie Adelson then meets up in person with his mother, the defendant. And in person, she gives him the paperwork that this blackmailer gave to her and makes it Charlie Adelson's newest problem to solve. And naturally, what does Charlie Adelson do? He goes to the next train car, Catherine Magbanua. Charlie Adelson and Catherine Magbanua meet in person at a restaurant called Dolce Vita in Miami.
Dolce
And while
Vita.
they sit at their table in this busy, noisy restaurant, an undercover FBI agent is sitting at a table nearby with a camera hidden in a bag, recording the conversation. So this is a
Babes, he had bag cam. I'm sorry, FBI with a bag cam at Dolce Vita. I'm hooked.
an image from that video recording the conversation. And in the recording, we hear Charlie Adelson discussing whether the man who walked up to his mother could be an undercover police officer.
Hope you know what time it is, Jess. You absolutely know.
John Ralphio?
Charlie Ralphio.
Or he could be someone trying to legitimately blackmail them.
Oh.
And if it's a blackmailer, is it somebody who just saw a way to make a quick buck? Or is it another situation entirely, which would be much worse for the Adelsons? Is it actually someone with inside information about Donna Adelson's role in the murder of Dan Markel? And that person could tell police what they know. Charlie Adelson reassures Catherine Magbanua, that if it is the police, that is a good thing. Charlie Adelson thinks that, hey, if it's the police, that means the police don't have enough evidence to.
Thank you so much. CU Buffs RN says, Kim, EDB, Emily D. Baker, Queen, says that they showed the picture of Donna from 11 years ago to familiarize the jury with her appearance at that time, because we've got all this, digital and pictures, and they're very, very good with their actual investigation. Could you believe it? A little bit different than what we're used to. And that way they can identify her in all the pics from that time frame. Thank you so much.
Charge anybody,
Lovies, you are the best
pushing
at
for
this.
information.
I'm obsessed
And
with
in
you.
fact, Charlie Adelson tells her, hey, if they had any evidence, we would have already gone to the airport. It's important to note that at the time of this conversation at Dolce Vita, no arrests had been made in this case. And the only thing that police had released to the public at that point was a photo of the light-colored Prius that fled the scene. Police knew at that point that it was Garcia and Rivera who were in the Prius.
If somebody doesn't help our prosecutor get that fucking fly out of her face, I'm calling the police. Okay? Get a goddamn fly swatter for her.
But the public didn't know that yet. So that fact
She's
is
clutching.
interesting in light of some of the things that Charlie Adelson started saying to Magbanua. He starts giving her several analogies involving rental cars being used to commit crimes. He reassures her that the police can't prove a person committed a crime just from someone's DNA being in a car that was used in a crime. In order to prove someone committed a crime, you have to be able to put the person at the scene of the crime at the time it was committed.
Oh.
So he's trying to
Do
reassure
you?
her that even if they identify who rented that car that fled the scene, they still would not have enough evidence to hold anybody responsible for this murder. Charlie Adelson also says that crimes are tough to prove
Put that back.
unless someone actually witnessed the suspect commit the crime,
You don't say.
or the suspect confesses to the crime, or a suspect is caught on a wire talking about the crime. So he's trying to reassure her about the lack of evidence in this case, about no witnesses, and trying to let her know that, hey, as long as we all stay quiet and nobody confesses or gets caught talking on a wire, we don't have anything to worry about. And he begins educating Catherine Magbanua about how blackmail works. He tells her that, hey, if this is a guy who knows information, there's 2 ways of dealing with this guy. You know, we could call the police, but then the guy blackmailing us could be charged. And then that blackmailer is going to start talking and the police are going to be asking questions about what happened. The other option.
Oh my God, Donna is such a problem. She is such a problem. If you're already shaking your head, I can't with her.
Is to pay the blackmailer, but let him know that this is just a one-time thing. And we'll try to scare him off by saying, if you come around again, we'll go to the police. Charlie Adelson gives Magbanua very precise instructions on how to deal with the blackmailer. He tells her to call the blackmailer and tell her that my friends, meaning the Adelson family, have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm just going to give you this money as charity, but don't contact these people again or they'll go to the police. And Charlie Adelson said he would give Magbanua the $5,000 to pay off the blackmailer who approached his mother, except that he's concerned that this guy won't go away. He'll get that $5,000 and then he'll just keep coming back for more money. We'll see him as an easy target. And so Charlie Adelson then offers that the best solution might be to have the blackmailer killed and that he's willing to pay whatever it takes. He says, so help me God, if they F with my family, it's going to be Nazi shit because this will be done. I mean, Katie, I don't care what I spend. And after hearing that Charlie Adelson wants someone killed and is willing to pay whatever it takes to get it done, Magbanua then asked Charlie Adelson to help her out. And Charlie Adelson reassures her she'll be taken care of and reminds her she's on salary at the parents' dental practice. After Charlie Adelson finishes this meeting where he's getting Magbanua to then solve the problem of the blackmailer, they say goodbye. He gives her a big hug that's captured on camera outside by the FBI.
I love you.
And then Charlie Adelson immediately calls the defendant to let her know everything's fine and he has handled the situation.
Oh, has he?
He does this using some pretty obvious code words that you'll often hear these conspirators use to mask the meaning of what they're talking about in case law enforcement's listening. Magbanua then, also using code words, calls Garcia, and she tasks him with calling the number on their paperwork and finding the identity of the blackmailer.
God.
And in the series of recorded calls that y'all are going to hear later this week, you'll hear these conspirators talking and using words like TV, relationship advice, false leads, listings, patients, properties, clients, rap songs, CDs, pigs, all these terms that are obviously normal words, but they're used in context that if you're listening to the conversation don't make sense.
Okay.
So after that undercover operation was over in 2016, Luis Rivera and Sigfredo Garcia are arrested, and they're charged with the same charges before y'all in this trial. Luis Rivera, who was the second person in that Prius, cut a deal with the state and told law enforcement the truth about the murder of Dan Markel and the people responsible for it. He told police that he was hired by his longtime friend Garcia to help kill Dan Markel. Rivera described how Garcia told him that this was a job that Magbanua was able to get for them, and it was in Tallahassee, and it paid $100,000, and that Rivera was going to get a third of the money. Rivera said that during the trip to Tallahassee, Garcia had a piece of paper with a picture of the man that they were hired to kill and some handwritten notes. And during that trip, Rivera said that the first call that either of them made after the homicide was from Garcia to Magbanua, where Garcia told her that the job was done and Magbanua assured them they would get their money the next day, which they did. That Magbanua brought the money the next morning to Rivera's home.
Look at
her. Law
her.
enforcement checked cell phone records, which corroborated Rivera's information. Law enforcement told police that the money that he received from Magbanua the next day was packaged in a very unusual way. The money was basically in stacks of 1,000. Each stack was made up of 10.
Lovies, I don't recall, said Kim, you should watch Justice Served with Michael Easter. He breaks down the bump. It's good. I will definitely do that, Lovey, and we all should watch it because I have to get familiarized with the bump. Do the bump to bump.
In $100 bills that were then stapled together.
Okay, and a man that's okay. Oh my God, is he not the biggest walking red flag you've ever seen in your life with that wet ass money? He's got a stapler. You know, like everything is just very uncomfortable about Charlie Adelson.
And after each stack was stapled
I
together.
don't judge a man on a
1,000.
stapler.
And after learning this from Rivera, Magbanua was arrested, and that
Yeah.
was in October of 2016. During this trial, you'll hear that the Adelson family had access to a lot of cash because their family gave cash discounts at their dental practice. Like if you paid in cash, you would have to pay less than if you paid on a card or check. And they kept the cash that they received in stacks and they stored it in a safe.
Yes, they did.
Law enforcement also learned from Charlie Adelson's
It's a
friend
jump
that
scare
Charlie
every
Adelson had a
time.
very unusual practice of keeping his money in these $1,000 stacks that were stapled together, just like the money Rivera received. And over the last few years, since the 2016 arrests of Garcia and Rivera in May, and then of Magbanua in October 2016, law enforcement has not stopped working on this case. 3 years after Garcia's arrest in 2019, he was convicted at his trial. Law enforcement continue, though, to gather evidence. They continue to interview people who may possibly have information and to clarify all of these recordings the FBI did that couldn't be clearly heard. And thanks to their tireless efforts, in March of 2022, Charlie Adelson was indicted. 2 months later, in May of 2022, Catherine Magbanua's case went to trial, and she was convicted. During Magbanua's trial, Catherine Magbanua took the stand, and she insisted, this is back in May of 22, she insisted she had
Get a bucket and a mop for that wet ass money.
no knowledge
Give
of the
me
murder.
everything you
The
got,
Adelsons must have
Charlie.
just gone around her to hire the hitman directly. That's what she testified to.
Beat it up,
Her
Charlie.
defense
Get a
team
charge.
insisted that the state's theory was correct about every co-conspirator except for her, for Catherine Magbanua. That Catherine Magbanua was just this victim of bloodthirsty and desperate prosecutors and investigators, and just a victim of this set of circumstances that appeared to prove one thing, but was actually, the truth was something
Katie's
else
new
entirely.
titties.
However, after being convicted at trial and sentenced, Magbanua finally decided to testify about the plot to kill Dan Markel
There you
and
go.
admitted that she was the connection between the Adelson family and the killers
Oh, you
hired to
poor
kill Dan
connect.
Markel. Magbanua testified in Charlie Adelson's trial in October of 2023 and said that Charlie Adelson wanted to hire someone to kill his sister's ex because his mom was stressed out over all of the problems his sister was having with her ex-husband. Magbanua said Charlie painted a picture that
Literally.
Wendy's ex was this terrible man causing his mom so much stress that she couldn't sleep or eat. Magbanua agreed to help him and ended up recruiting her children's father, Garcia, and also Rivera to kill Dan Markel. She says that the night of the murder,
It was
she
so
went to Charlie
sleepy.
Adelson's house to pick up the payment for the murder. And when she arrived, Charlie Adelson said that his parents had just been at the house and that Charlie Adelson had the money for her there. Law enforcement was able to corroborate this claim with phone evidence showing that Donna Adelson went to Charlie Adelson's house the night of the murder. Magbanua then spent the night with Charlie Adelson that night, and the next morning, on July 19th, he put the money that she was to divide up into the trunk of her car. Magbanua says several things about the money stood out to her. She said it was stapled together in stacks of $100 bills and that it was damp like wet. She then delivered the money to Garcia and Rivera afterwards. When Catherine Magbanua said that when she asked Charlie Adelson about the money being damp, he said that his mother the defendant had actually washed the money, and that she and Charlie Adelson kind of laughed about the fact that the defendant had literally washed the money so it couldn't be traced.
Oh, I'm sorry. Donna, babe, you think that washing money is putting it through a cycle? Did you do it on gentle? What are we doing? Did you hand wash it, babe? Babe, did you put it out on the line outside? We got bumps, we've got lines, we got wet ass money. I am blacked out currently.
In Charlie Adelson's trial, Charlie Adelson took the stand, and he testified
Golly.
that Magbanua, Garcia, and Rivera were all in on this crime together, but that the Adelsons had nothing to do with it. They were the innocent ones. He had crafted an elaborate story in which Garcia and Rivera came to Tallahassee on their own, killed Dan Markel without his knowledge or his family's knowledge, and then these killers colluded with Magbanua to play he and his mother for fools and extort money out of them. And for many reasons, which will be revealed to y'all in this trial.
Who just caught a woman taking a piece of gum out of her mouth? Shade from the court TV cameraman.
Charlie's interpretation of the facts was not reasonable to believe, and he was convicted. Charlie Adelson was convicted in November of 2023. And within hours of his guilty verdict, this defendant began to...
Oh my God, I'm so sorry to Mark and Cindy Hoskins. Kim, you crack me up. You can tell you haven't followed this at all. I have not, babes, okay? I literally was introduced by whom? Our Auntie Deborah and Kathy. 3.5 hour stream. Just for the shit talking. And I've watched 2 other streams that were like way too long, but I fell asleep to them. Okay. I was an angel baby sleeping like Mr. Markel falling asleep because it's a lot. And I mean, like, this is good. This is good. We will be together, but you're going to have to talk me through this, right? We're going to be learning. It's not like I have all the shits on this. This is going to be us watching it like we were a jury. I could be a juror on this case.
Plan to flee the United States to a country that she could not be extradited from in order to avoid being arrested for Dan Markel's murder. The defendant on her phone researched countries that did not have extradition treaties with the United States, and she applied for an emergency visa to Vietnam. She was overheard planning to put her money in trust for her grandchildren.
To the Vietnam.
She and her husband purchased one-way tickets with a fast-track emergency visa to Vietnam.
One-way ticket.
And Vietnam does not have an extradition treaty with the U.S., as she would have learned from her searches. And just days later, she was stopped by law enforcement on the jetway in Miami International Airport, where she was boarding her one-way flight to Vietnam.
Air Vietnam.
And she was then charged for her participation in the murder of Dan Markel. After the defendant was charged, law enforcement received information from women who said that the defendant, Donna Adelson, was offering them bribes in exchange for false testimony in this trial. They said Donna Adelson promised them money, housing,
money, power, respect,
prescription drugs, if they were willing to testify.
What drug?
That Catherine Magbanua told them a completely different story about the crime than the one that she would be testifying to.
Okay.
One informant was even able to show law enforcement a script, a question and answer session for a direct examination in trial that Donna Adelson herself wrote, and that Donna Adelson wanted this informant to memorize and come into court and perjure herself by reciting it to you here in trial.
Shut the fuck
Please listen
up.
to all of the evidence that y'all are going to see and hear in this trial. I know,
babes, last week at Auntie's house, I said that this was all a show and that it was Donna's show and we were all here to watch it, right? And she's writing out scripts saying that this needs to be the best performance of Wendy's life when this was all still pre-murder. OMG. The delusion, the arrogance, and the stupidity of these human beings is really remarkable.
it's been a long week already, and we have a lot of evidence for you in this case. But when you do, you will see that this defendant conspired with her son, Charlie Adelson, who solicited his girlfriend, Catherine Magbanua, to get this murder done. Oh. And then this defendant paid her with cash, with checks for the job once it was completed. The defendant acted in furtherance of this murder plot that went beyond just thinking about it or just talking about it. And these acts make her guilty as a principal to first-degree murder, just as if she was the one pulling the trigger in the garage herself. And while the defendant's choices helped solve a problem within her family, they came at a very high price. She took the life of a loving father of 2 little boys and caused a lifetime of grief.
It's almost like Donna was doing this.
But what happens when I spread my load out, when I lay on my bed like this?
Ew. Donna, you spread your load out all over your bed and all over your family. And look where you are today. Oh, Donna Sue.
Dan Markel's loved ones. And at the conclusion of the evidence in this case, you will be convinced beyond any reasonable doubt that this defendant is guilty. And at that point, we'll ask you for the only verdict that does justice in this case, which is a verdict that this defendant is guilty as charged.
Noted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lovey. And I like the and still God bless you, Dan. All right, now let's see. Let's see what this defense team has to say. Oh, look at her leg fell asleep at the fucking desk. Oh, sister, I feel ya. Been there. Oh, sidebar. Oh. Now what are we doing? Where are we going? Oh, don't smile. Ew, ew, Donna. Pull your shit together. What are you using for moisturizer? I have questions. Donna. Why does Donna have why is she wearing headphones? Is she hard of hearing? All right, I'm going to move. Sorry, guys. Hey, Judge. Tell me more. What are we doing now? Oh, is everyone taking a break? The seal of Florida, the great seal of the state of Florida. In God we trust. Yes, we do. I like your flowers. I like your lady and the ship. Okay. Court is on a short break. We're moving.
Boys.
Oh. Now let's see. Now let's see what the defense is going to bring us. Oh, one more time. Come on, Kim.
Happened to him.
Oh, for the love of shit. Okay. We're going to leave it there. Who's she looking at? What is happening? Is this my live or her live? Oh. Oh, for the love of everything good and holy.
FaceTiming, but that happened to him.
Back it up one more second. Just kidding. I should not be actually trusted. We're going to go right there.
At the law school as a professor.
Okay.
He worked very hard.
That's as close as I could get,
He earned
babes.
a lot. What he did not earn was for somebody to do this to him. You're going to hear that Wendy Adelson, the daughter of my client,
I love him.
is married to Danny.
I demand a lunch and sweaters with Mr. Markel and our Auntie Deb.
And I'm not trying to be informal when I say that. I respect Mr. Markel, Dr. Markel, but because so many people in the trial are going to refer to him as Danny, I'm going to do that if that's okay.
No, you're not.
I don't mean
it's not
any
okay.
disrespect by doing that. More important to Danny Markel than anything in the world were his little boys. He had 2 little children when this happened to him, a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. When the divorce first happened, when Wendy moved out, he did not want the divorce.
Tom Petty.
And they squabbled during the divorce. They did. Each side
done.
argued for their side. The other side argued for their side. That's what happens in divorce. Divorce is not fun. Divorce is not usually friendly. Some of us have had friendly divorces, but not everybody does. And a lot of things were said. But moving forward to 2014 is where we're going to concentrate on, because that's when Danny was killed. And in 2014, with these little boys that he had, the divorce had been over for a year.
I really like your peaches, wanna shake your tree. Is that Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers? Katie, I really love your peaches, wanna shake your tree.
Relocation, the opportunity, even discussion about it ended. On July 31st, when the final judgment was entered, relocation was over. The state told you that. The court denied it with prejudice. She could never raise it again. Nobody was fighting anymore about where these little boys would be.
Steve Miller.
Danny advocated for not only himself in the divorce.
Damn, I'm sorry, guys. That was Steve Miller Band, son of a bungalow.
Divorce. He advocated
Could we do Last Dance with Katie Jane? Is that it or no? All right. All right.
for his children. They are an important part of his life. He wanted as much time as he could get with them. They ended up splitting the time equally between Wendy and Danny. Their schedules changed a little bit on how they worked that out, but it was 50%. This bug is driving me crazy too. What in the world is that? Sorry.
Oh,
He
levity.
continuously, from the time Wendy moved out till the time that he was killed, spent as much time as he could get with his children. He loved being with them. If it wasn't his time to have the children, he would go to their little preschool and spend time with them there.
Oh,
He wanted to talk to them on the phone as much as he could. You guys are way younger.
Lovey's very interesting strategy, because this is very humanizing to quote Danny Markel, right? We're talking about all of his love for his children and his involvement in their life. Interesting. I like it, but I'm not seeing where it's
than
going
me,
yet.
So maybe you don't even know about this, but I guess there was a thing called Skype. I don't even know if it still exists, but I guess it's like FaceTiming, but doing it on your computer. And that's how he wanted to
What the
talk to
fuck?
his kids, so that he could see them when he wasn't with them while he spoke.
I'm sorry, Tom Petty. We don't know what Skype is. Where were you? Who are you and where are you from? This is very, very odd and off-putting. There was a thing called Skype where you would call someone on the computadora and they would answer right here. Can you imagine that?
them. Now at 3 and 4, it's kind of hard to wrangle them to sit down in front of a screen. So Danny came up with a really good idea.
Oh, he did?
When he Skyped the children, it would be most of the time after the kids had had their dinner and had their baths, where they're kind of calmed down. They're not in their little running around state. And he would read bedtime stories to them. He didn't have his little kids. He still wanted to know that when the children went to bed, they didn't forget about Daddy.
Is she
And he made sure
crying?
that didn't happen. These kids are not deprived of their father.
I'm so. What the fuck is happening? Who am I? Are we on an alternate like, is this a different timeline? What the fuck are you doing, ma'am, sir, them, they, Tommy P? I am moved. I am very saddened for the loss of Danny Markel. But what are you crying for? Representing the matriarch murderous mastermind, Donna Sue.
Their father was brutally taken from them. Not just when they were 3 or 4,
or
5 or 6,
or
7 or 8.
Oh, Jesus.
But up into their teens.
Oh.
They lost the opportunity because someone took it from them to grow up with a father, to have his involvement and influence in their lives, to talk about what he did as a kid and share his experiences. All of that was stolen from him. That's very important.
Oh,
This
I'm
Skyping
very
that he
sad
did with
for
his kids,
Mr. Markel.
Mrs. Adelson, when she had the little boys, actually arranged so she could do that with him. And she would keep the kids in front of the screen while he talked to his children.
Oh, she won a medal?
You've heard a lot about how she hated him. She said some ugly things during the divorce. Pretty foul things, actually. But you're going to learn through the evidence why that was occurring.
Oh, I
and
like
how
that,
she was
Jose
actually
Baez.
interacting with Danny. They're two very different things. I want to talk to you now about my client, Donna Adelson. She is a normal person, just like all of us. At the time that this happened, she was 64.
She's just a normal mom. Duh. What? Oh, she's a normal person. If that's okay, we were just talking about how Danny was Danny, which again, too informal for my liking, coming from a defense attorney, but I digress. The top of the pack that you can come up with is she's a normal person. You're fucked. You're all fucked. Fucking Florida does it again.
54 years old, married to her husband, Dr. Adelson, a dentist. Now they've been married 54 years. It was somewhere in the 40-year range when this happened 11 years ago. And she got up in the morning and went to work, not at her and Harvey's business, like you were just told. She went to the business owned by her son.
Oh, wow.
Every morning they got up and they went to work. She did the books. She kept the books. She greeted patients. She got charts out at 7:30 every morning. She was there and organized and had everybody ready to go because they had a little staff meeting. So everybody could know what to expect, what patients they were going to see, what they were going to take care of. She was there working, sometimes late into the evening, just like all of us. She's a normal person. People who know Donna
normal times
will
two.
tell you that she is not the person that the state is portraying her to be. She's kind, caring, loving. She cares more about people than she does about herself.
Okay.
What happened on July the 18th of 2014? You've heard the state describe it, but I want to talk about it for a minute.
Tell me. Oh, Madam Court Reporter.
The state is going to be able to prove to you some of the things they were talking about.
What? The state can prove some things? Oh my gosh.
Can everybody see it okay? No. Oh.
Clearly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So the state told you that he got up every day, just like he normally did.
Okay.
On July the 18th of 2014. And I just want to say this also. Throughout the trial, you may hear me say that he was murdered on that date. Somehow he survived for another 11 hours. But in my opinion, all the evidence is going to show that what killed him took place on the 18th, and he was just able to survive long enough into the next day. So on that date,
he
July
suffered.
18th of 2014, these two men, Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera, followed Danny all over town. Started at his house, followed him to the school where the little children were going to school, the preschool where he dropped them off, watched him drop those kids off.
Babes, I'm sorry. She got clip art? Is this a pile of money from clip art? And a stock photo of a pistol? My God. May God have mercy on all of our souls if this is what a defense attorney has put together. Stock images, money piles, and a pistol.
Followed him to the gym, waited outside the gym for him, followed him to his house, pulled up in the driveway. Mr. Markel is talking on the telephone to someone, and he notices someone's coming into his driveway. And while he's talking on the phone and says,
Babes, it's Aperture. She's got the blue. Sorry. She's got a blue poster board. And if you look out in the hallway, lovies, Judd Welcher is there with a can of blue paint ready to fucking go.
Something about needing to see who this is. He turns and looks in the direction. And this man, Sigfredo Garcia, is holding a revolver. And he points it at him.
Revolver.
And you may hear testimony that there's some evidence that maybe he tried to, what you do in defense when somebody's going to hit you or whatever, you put your hands up. He saw this man pointing a gun similar to this at him. And in that instant, I cannot fathom how terrified he must have been.
But what happens when I spread my load out, when I lay on my bed like this?
Not one time, but twice. One of the shots is almost right between the eyes. He
Get that
brutally
poster
murdered
board.
This man, Luis Rivera, who you've heard them mention in the States opening, traveled with this car. This is an actual picture of the car, and the state's going to show it to you. This is the Prius that they were traveling in. This is a surveillance photo that the investigators were able to find. to know that it was a Prius that they were looking for.
She's not impressed.
This man supplied. the
Who's
gun
that man?
And drove the car following Danny.
Wow. This is terrible.
Drove it up into the driveway, less than 3 feet away from Mr. Markel, whose engine is still running.
Okay.
And he's on the phone.
And then what happened?
And he waits while this man kills him. He hears the shots. This guy, Mr. Garcia, runs back to the car where Mr. Rivera is in the driver's seat.
Okay.
He's the getaway driver. Supplies the gun, knows what they're going there to do, kill him, and drive off. They drive off. The state can prove that about Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera.
Okay.
But they're not on trial here, right? You heard they've already been on trial. Then you're going to hear, as the state said, that they can prove that everybody can see okay. They can prove that Katie Magbanua, her name is Catherine, some people call her Katie. They can prove that she's the one who set it up. This is the father of Katie's children. This is his buddy that was recruited to go along on this trip.
Jesus Christmas.
They can prove that she arranged these guys to do it and that she's the one who paid them.
What the fuck is happening?
The money that was in stacks, stapled, $100 bills, all $100.
And this guy did this. And if you look at this guy, he gave it to this guy. And this is the one who was the murder. And she is the girl. Like, throw a name at us. This is day one. I understand that you're doing your absolute 4th grade project here, but this is terrifying.
Been something other than $100 bills, but each stack was $1,000 stapled together. And
Wet
you're gonna
ass
hear
money.
testimony that that's exactly what he did with his money. He kept it and saved it
Okay.
for a long time. And you're probably going to hear testimony that this happens on July 18th, and on July the 19th, Mr. Adelson, Charlie Adelson, which is her son, gave approximately between $130,000 and $138,000 that he had in his safe that he collected and stapled together. His money went to her, not Miss Adelson. They can prove and have that he paid her to get them to kill Danny Markel.
Okay, but can they really prove that, or is it giving
I'm a
more
baby. I have no money.
You owe us
of this?
I'm a baby. I have no money.
You owe us $200. We just cleaned for an hour. I don't do that at my house.
Thank you for cleaning.
No. Thank you. I just degraded my friend for you, and I thought we were going to be paid.
I can pay you in blocks.
You're not a baby. You're a man.
No.
That's what they can prove. And they've done it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. This case is really a lot about theory and motive and not evidence. The state has a theory.
Okay.
In the past 9 to 11 years, in fairness, probably 9 years, they have told the whole world that Mrs. Adelson was the reason that this happened. Mrs. Adelson was the reason that this happened. They've told this story, and it's outrageous. It gets people's attention. It's made a lot of money for the media, interviews, specials. Some people in jury selection said they had watched these specials. Lawyers on there, investigators on there. They made a lot of money for the media, and it got big attention because this is outrageous, what happened. It is truly outrageous. But what's more outrageous is, without any evidence, only motive and theory, they put her at the top of this pyramid. She's the matriarch. She's the matriarch mastermind behind Danny being killed. And they don't have evidence of that. That's what's outrageous. It's outrageous that he got killed, but it's also outrageous that we're sitting here with a jury, and you're going to hear a lot of theory, a lot of motive, and a lot of what they believe the evidence means. They don't just get to decide that. The evidence is what the evidence is. And I ask you to patiently sit here and really pay attention to all of the evidence that you.
Right. And Lawyer B just says, but her emails did. Like, babe, we just saw the roadmap. We saw the prosecution. The state laid out and highlighted the emails from whom? Donna Sue. Okay. That wasn't anybody else's emails. I didn't see a script from Katie, with the big old new titties. Katie's double D's didn't send that email.
to hear every witness that they put on, every piece of evidence that they present to you, all of it. Don't, for 1 second, I'm not asking you to ignore any of that. Please listen to all of it closely.
Thank you.
Look for what they actually have as evidence that Mrs. Adelson planned. She planned.
You're so funny.
Danny Markel's murder. That she engaged these men to kill him. And that she gave the money to her son to give to Katie to pay them. You won't find evidence of that. The evidence about the $3,000 a month, I have that here on this board, $3,000 a month. Charlie Adelson gave $2,000 a month, and he instructed his mother, for reasons you're going to learn in the trial, out of his business account to put her on payroll. She worked for him.
Okay.
Paid that money. It's this man's money, not Donna Adelson's. At the end of listening to all of the evidence, we're going to have an opportunity to make closing arguments. And the judge is then going to give you, well, he's going to give it before, he's going to give you all of the instructions on what it is that you have to decide.
Mm-hmm.
Did the state charge and then prove that
Meet
Mrs.
their
Adelson
burden of
committed
proof.
a conspiracy? Not one of the elements, all of the elements.
Yeah.
Proven by evidence,
yelling.
not theory, not motive. For each count, then solicitation, all the elements. So while you're listening to the evidence, you don't know what those elements are, but think about what each thing it is that the state has alleged. She planned it. She got people to do it. She intended that he die. That this woman wanted to take away the father of her grandchildren for the rest of their life because of relocation that happened a year ago and was done and over. And at the end of the case, because there's not going to be evidence that she did this, keep an open mind. Listen to all of it. We're going to ask you to find her not guilty of every single count. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fulford.
Oh. Okay, lovies, let's come close. Let's grade. That is insane. But let us grade the prosecution opening statements in Donna Adelson trial. A for incredible through F as a failing mark. You guys put yours in. I'm not going to look, and I'm writing down what I think they get. You take a minute, you do that, and then I'm going to show you my paper. And then we're going to do the defense. Oh, okay. So I see, we're going to look at all these. Ooh, really? Priscilla says A. Oh, no, Lori, not, God, geez, Louise, not yet with the other one. A for Robin. A for Mary. Wow, really good. Third stage navigator says A-. This is for the prosecution only. Prosecution B+. All right, lovies. I went with Shirley says B. And Kristen Bell said B. Okay says B+. I went with prosecution straight B. Straight B. And that's good. Like that's good. I just thought that because it's so layered and there's so much happening, babes, that like, again, you guys know more than I do. I'm coming in as unbiased and as kind of educated with the case as one could be. I've seen Wendy's in her questioning. I've seen that in full. I've seen Dan Markel's cross-examination. I saw Katie testify at Dan's trial. I didn't see any of Lewis or Sig's trial, except for a couple of highlights that someone did where Lewis was like, I might be illiterate, but I know how to count motherfucking money. And then he got up on the stand and said, my name is Lewis, Lius. And I was like, oh, Lois, my lovey. So I probably should educate myself this weekend and watch at least probably Katie's trial, right? Or I don't know. Maybe I could get like cliff notes of whoever else would be really good. All right. Or what do you think? What else should I watch? Should I watch anything else before I go into this trial? You got to watch Jeff. Okay. Jeff. Oh, Lewis was on the stand today. Shut up. Damn it. All right. And Charlie's trial. Okay. I watched only his cross-examination of his trial, but I should watch the whole thing. Okay. All right. Will do. All right. Now let's grade, babes. We're grading the defense opening remarks. Opening statement. This is you setting up the entire trial. Of course, you want to hear wait for us, which she did at the end. Of course, you are never going to get a Mr. Yannetti trial 1 opening statements ever again. That was a once in a lifetime. Karen Reed was framed. But what do we give her, Tom Petty, for her opening defense? Poor Donna, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. All right, here we go. F from Lauren. D from Third Stage Navigator. F for a flop. It didn't land. We've got, oh, sorry, she had a chart. FF because she's free falling. Z because that's the end of the alphabet. B, I get it. Give us the D. I is for incomplete. Noodles mama, smart. G for grandma. C minus. Okay. E, we're just throwing out letters here. Oh, a big fat D for Donna. All right. I hit it with a big fat D for D's nuts, Donna. What are we doing? Oh, I said D minus. That's probably rude. Maybe a straight D would have been fine. No, it was D minus-ish. Babe, if you're standing at your blue board and you're like, he said to her, he was like, give me that money. And she was like, yeah. And then he was the one who drove the car. It's like, bitch, what the fuck? Why are you crying? Why are you getting weird? Why did you say your client was normal twice? Ew. Not hot. That's not giving us the warm and fuzzes, you know? Oh, she's normal. Says who? Is she normal to, I don't know, someone who conspires to murder their son-in-law? Or is she normal? I don't know. Jen McCabe? Is she a Jennifer McCabe friend? We don't know. Is she normal like me? Meaning she's full of anxiety and Catholic guilt? Ho-ho! What is normal? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. A minus and F says Double Bend Leather Company. I love it. Ooh, Mary B said, yeah, she's normal for a Disney villain. Who is she? Which Disney villain is she? Should we do a villains collection? She is a villain. God damn it, Donna Sue. I wanted to believe you were not guilty. I wanted to believe that you were just misunderstood and that all the other assholes in your life had let you down and that you were like, I'm just a mother. She was clutching her pearls. Yeah, she was controlling. Yeah, she was a pain in the ass. Yeah, she laundered his money, literally. She literally pulled like Felsnap soap on it and scrubbed it. What the fuck? This is insanity, truly. Okay. Snow White stepmother. There it is. I love that. Okay, so we're going into this completely biased. No. I was following what I had seen from Kath and Jimmy. So yeah, maybe I was biased. But I at least had sympathy for her, and now I'm losing it. The facts are going to be told to me. And Donna Sue, it's not looking good for you. Okay? That's what I know. How fucking, it is terrifying. Judge Frollo. Okay. Ursula. She is Ursula. Could she be Ursula? My God. Say it louder, Kel. Auntie, how are we, babe? How you doing? Are you getting ready for your big plane ride tomorrow? As our correspondent, live and in color, in Tallahassee. Don't let Jimmy's Tallahassee get out on those poppies down southern Florida, right? What are we doing? Listen to me. I don't know if you were here while I talked about Mr. Markel's sweater. Him wearing it. I'm sending you a Venmo tonight. I need you in a Tommy Hilfiger and or Ralph Lauren. I want just a sweater over the shoulders. I want you to actually invite him to pickleball and lunch. I want you to sit near him, his energy. He'll know you. You guys will, I mean, not in a creepy way, but if he's like, hey, who are you? You'll be like, hey, I'm Jimmy. And then you can support him. And then we can do anything that we can to help their family because I love him. I love him in the courtroom. You know, if I was there, Jimmy, what would I be doing? He'd tell me things. He'd be like this. Oh my gosh, I wanted to tell you when Danny was 7, I don't know why I want to tell you this, but he scraped his knee because he was going down a hill on a little red wagon. And I'd be like, oh my gosh. And then I would walk him out to his car because any man over the age of 70, I'm in love with. They are my people. They don't ask for my help. They're not like, Kim, could you please assist me? No. It's not like a weird love. It's just like, I need to help you. I need to scoop you up in my arms and tell you that I work for you now. I'm your nurse, babe. You don't need one. Okay, cool. Ralph Lauren is a better choice. Thank you, Mary Malarkey. I will fuck off with my Tommy Hilfiger suggestion. Okay. And there it is. This isn't mass anymore. Thank God. Yes. Thank God. View Galaxy. All right, lovies. We did the opening statements tonight. This is where we wanted to be. I know that, oh shit. Should we do Lewis? How long is Lewis? I can't do any more hours. It's already 11. It's almost midnight. We got to go to bed. We will do the rest of day 1 tomorrow. Okay. Whenever. Tell me, leave me a love note or write something now and say when you're free tomorrow. We can do crack ass at dawn. We could do like 7:30 a.m. or we could do the afternoon. You tell me. I love everything about your faces. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for joining me. And I wish you a good night's sleep, lovey. Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right, great job on the news.
Thank you.
We will, Courtney and I will share what happened when we went to dinner last night, Sunday dinner coming up. And as